Hello and welcome to the episode 2 of Cinema Hall, and now showing में हम लेके आए हैं जोजी. It's another Malayalam film. जैसे कि मैंने बात की थी पिछले वीडियो के एंड में कि हम जोजी की बात करेंगे इस फ्राइडे को. एंड तो हमारी जो सिनेमा हॉल है उसमें आज जोजी रिलीज हुई है और मेरे साथ उसके बारे में बात करने के लिए मौजूद हैं द रेगुलर्स फरहाद एंड सादिक ऑफ कोर्स. And we have a new face today, Sneha. So thank you guys for joining. And सबसे पहले तो I should say Sneha, thank you for taking out time. I know you were looking forward to this podcast as much as I was looking forward to actually watch Joji and a lot of Fafa films, because I know मतलब तुम लोग तो काफी देर से उसकी फिल्मों को देखते आए और उसके फैंस हो, but I was new to it, and Joji was not just the first Fahadh film that I saw, but also the first Malayalam film I saw. And man, I mean, the moment I finished watching that film and the whole journey of that couple of hours, it made me realize how I was missing out on so much. I mean, not just filmmaking, but the performances and the background score, which I'm myself into, being a musician. So such crazy stuff these guys are making, and I just hope that there are certain films which should not be touched, and I hope that Bollywood does not remake. And anyway, we do have a Shakespeare Macbeth adaptation in Maqbool in Bollywood already, so I don't think this will anyway be touched and spoiled by Bollywood. But yeah, so Joji, I'll first start with the ladies first, बोल के I'll start with Sneha, because last time Farhad actually pointed out that in our last video there was just one female who was present, and we were actually talking about the Great Indian Kitchen and the patriarchy shown in that, and it's kind of like that once again. But जोजी में भी patriarchy के काफी शेड्स हैं, तो इसीलिए हमने वो ट्रेंड कंटिन्यू किया है आज. तो स्नेहा, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, when you saw Joji, like of course you were already a Fahadh fan and you had seen so many films before. What was new in Joji for you? Was there anything that stunned you, especially in terms of Fahadh's performance and his choice of films as always, refreshing?
So like I knew it would be good because Dileesh, Pothan and Fahadh Faasil, they make great movies. Plus, they've collaborated with the same writer. I think the trailer itself was like very intriguing for me. मुझे उसी से लग गया था कि it will be good, and plus because I had heard that it's an adaptation of Macbeth, and the only other reference point for that I had was Irfan from Maqbool. So I just wanted to see like how dark can Fahad get in this, and I thought maybe बहुत comparisons होंगे and everything, but as a standalone performance, it was just amazing. And just the story itself, I think it was, even though it was weaved around Joji, all these supporting actors were equally great, and also like it was so refreshing to see a movie like pandemic की first movie है, I think, which actually addresses the pandemic in the timeline of the movie.
Yeah.
I think this is the first movie that I've seen since Corona happened. कि pandemic के बीच में the movie is taking place, and even though it does not have like a very influential role to play in the storyline, but still I think there are certain parts, certain scenes which really played out well. कि pandemic है, wear a mask and all these things. And I think Fahad was just amazing. Like and it was kind of expected also, and also like physically also I think I'm sure he went through like a physical transformation, because uska like he needed to be compared to his brothers and to his father, exactly. In terms of his physique. So I think in like he did a great job.
Absolutely.
In this.
You know, the one thing that really stuck with me was that one dialogue: "The dead will never return, but beware of those who are alive." I mean, that is a very haunting dialogue, isn't it? And it kind of represents the film. And especially I'd like to mention वो जो गजराज राव ने भी एक dedicated post लिखी थी for Fahad and for Malayalam cinema in general. I mean that showed that, you know, even people in Bollywood do realize, I mean, that they are miles ahead. You know what they are making and what we are making. I mean, uh, and as Sneha pointed out, it's that dream team of Dileesh, Pothan, Syam, Pushkaran, and Fahadh Faasil who have given us Maishinte Pratikaram and Tonde Mudulam Rikshashyam. So a couple of already good films that meant that, you know, the expectations were always sky high, and since they were making Macbeth, and you know, we are already seeing Makbul in India, तो इरफान खान ने एक वो standard set कर दिया था. And we also know that Fahad's favorite actor was Irfan. I mean, he has spoken about it, and he said that Irfan inspired him to take up acting seriously. So Farhad, as we said, ki is a dream team thi, and they were coming up with their third film. Do you think that were they able to, you know, cope up with the expectations? Was it better than their previous two ventures, or was it like a bit here and there? I mean, out of three, which one would you rate higher? And if not Joji, then which one is the other one and why?
Um, you put me in a spot right from the word go.
भाई
I
अब
think
आप पॉपकॉर्न रिव्यूज का नाम से पूरा प्लेटफॉर्म और फोरम चलाते हो, तो यार आपसे अगर हम मुश्किल सवाल नहीं करेंगे तो किससे करेंगे?
नहीं, मेरे लिए I think Georgie was the best out of the three. So interestingly, Dileesh Pothan जो है, he's also an actor, and उसने I think उसके पहले दो फिल्में direct की है. And one of his interviews, he said like with Fahad, the only way to get better was to get darker.
Yeah.
That itself, that line was chilling,
Yeah.
and it was delicious for the audience. By dark, मतलब कैसे मतलब? So when coming back to Georgie, the movie that is there, एक तो दो चीजें हैं. अगर आपको मैकबेथ का पता नहीं है, and if you haven't read about it, you will find it कि यार ये क्या चालू है? What is this? I mean, this screenplay, you will say कि यार it's very boring. You may not have any references of the characters. You know, it's a slow burn. Let's put it out there. It is a slow burn. ये slow है movie. लेकिन if you are a fan of literature, आपने अगर पढ़ा है Macbeth, and if you know the intricacies and the complexities of the story, then I think you will fall in love with the story like I did. I am a fan of literature, and I really love this adaptation. Yeah, like Sneha also said, and I जैसे केशव ने भी कहा था कि हमने मकबूल देखी थी, and it also shows कि the story itself is so powerful, that basic structure, the skeleton structure जिसको कहते हैं of Macbeth, कि आप कहीं पे भी उसको adapt कर सकते हो. Like मकबूल was I think a gangster story out and out.
Yeah.
एक और मलयालम मूवी आई थी जिसका नाम मैं भूल रहा हूँ, जिसमें कुणाल कपूर भी था.
Yeah.
It was a Malayalam movie only, and उसमें the situation was different, the scenario was
Was it
different.
Vikram?
यहाँ पे
विक्रम
sorry,
नाम था ना शायद उसका?
ऐसे वी से ही कुछ था, ऐसे ही कुछ था. एंड जॉर्जी में जो है वो अलग है. एंड इफ यू सी द कैरेक्टर ऑफ मैकबेथ इन दिस केस जॉर्जी, या वहां पे मकबूल was that stoic character, you know, there were more silences in his character sketch. लेकिन यहाँ पे जो है जॉर्जी was a little dim-witted, थोड़ा goofy टाइप का था, लेकिन फिर भी sly था, and फिर भी cunning था. So I mean, it was so refreshing to see. As you said कि आप comparison कैसे करोगे? दो performances थे, दो master classes थे, and it's very difficult. But as I would just like to say one more thing, that at the moment, क्योंकि इरफान साहब तो अब नहीं रहे, but Fahadh Faasil is the finest actor in India at the moment. There's no question about it.
I think we all would agree with that. And Sadiq has also been a fan of Fahad for a very long time. And Sadik, I mean, you've seen so many Fahad's films and performances. Would you rate this as the best so far?
For me, it's one of the best, not best, but yeah, one of the best. Because it's for me, it's on par with Trance. Because Trance was, for me, it was like an eye opener. Right? I mean, only in terms of performance, but in terms of the screenplay and stuff. It was a quite a brave film, Trance specifically. So for me, Joji is one of the best. And I won't say that, it's totally like Macbeth, because people are saying it's adapted from Macbeth. It's an improvisation they've made, and specifically in the, modern context, if we see.
Yeah.
And apart from that, what I saw that, that the character Joji, I mean, it's a great character, because it's due to the circumstances that he becomes so greedy and, selfish at times. And it's also because of his father also, that, his father always wanted him to become
Yeah.
wealthy and stuff. So always pressurized him. So yeah, it was because of the circumstances also. And also in real life at times we also see that, sometimes people have to become selfish, they have to become powerful. It's because of the circumstances, the people they are surrounded with. So Joji was more of a relatable character. I think many people can relate with that. And that's why I really liked him, because he had no option. He had no other option, because that's why for me he was more of a gray character, more of a positive side, I guess, because it's due to the surroundings that he had to adopt that. And I would really highly praise that the director Dileesh Pothan, and the screenplay writer Syam Pushkaran, for making such an engaging screenplay, and providing such an amazing direction to the movie.
Yeah,
I was
I
never
was
bored
just
for a single minute.
looking at an interview of Dileesh, and in that he was asked how was it working with Fahad, and he said that before working with him in Mahishante Pratikaram, I had actually seen him, act in other films, and I had seen his work. So he said it was a different trip altogether working with him, because as an outsider you have a different perspective, but once you work with somebody, your perspective also changes. And this was their third collaboration, and I think he also acted in Trance with him. He was
Yeah.
Avaracha, that character that he played.
Hmm.
So I mean, these guys have been long time friends as well. And one thing which I really liked about Malayalam cinema in general, not just Joji, of course, Joji included, but in general, is that they do not spoon feed like Bollywood. I mean, there are a lot of things which, uh, as an audience, you have to pick and take the hints of, because we see in Bollywood all the time, we are either spoon fed through background scores and through a lot of dialogue deliveries. But this film didn't really have a lot of dialogues. I mean, in a film like Macbeth, I mean, in an adaptation of Macbeth, or not a not a full adaptation, but even a partial one, you would expect a lot of dialogues to be there. I mean, just because the kind of play it was, even in Makbul. I mean, so to be able to convey the message and to be able to engage the audience without having so many of dialogues, I think that in itself is a testimony of why Malayalam cinema is rated where it is today. And since it's shot in contemporary times, we saw all the the mask and everything. So it also shows that how Malayalam cinema actually kept working during the lockdown as well. I mean, look at us, look at Bollywood, or look at anyone who would actually complain कि यार lockdown लगा हुआ है, shoots कहाँ होंगे, अभी क्या करेंगे. A lot of pessimism about it, but these guys were still channelizing all their energies into creativity. I think See You Soon was also made during the lockdown period.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
also, I think that's the beauty of Malayalam cinema, that they've started addressing this thing.
yeah,
I think हमारे filmmakers denial में कि pandemic चल रहा है, we have to incorporate this in the storyline,
yeah,
not make it part of the storyline, but incorporate it in some way.
yeah,
They have addressed it, and I think that's the beauty of it. कि they know that the world has changed now. We have to adapt to it,
yeah,
and they have framed the storyline accordingly.
yeah,
And it's done very beautifully actually. इतना कुछ in your face like you said spoon fed नहीं है, बहुत subtle moments है, when his dad dies, like Vinci comes and says, "Put on a mask, calm down."
That is
So
a
बहुत
very,
ही subtle
yeah,
subtle sequences है
that is a
to
hidden
point
meaning.
it out.
That is a hidden meaning. That it's not just put the mask, but it's also
Yeah,
metaphorically like the mask
exactly.
Joji actually puts in. I mean, just think
Right.
of it. उसके रूम के बाहर जोजी's पैलेस जो लिखा होता है. So once you enter that room, it's a whole together new world, and it's a different Joji inside, and outside of that, it's a different Joji. So probably she meant by when she said "Ki put on the mask and come." So once
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
mask, he becomes something else outside in front of everyone.
Yeah, he even puts it on in front of the mask to see अगर उसकी smile दिख रही है या नहीं. So that was a very subtle moment, and it was done very nicely actually.
And just talking about again, the patriarchy in a very hierarchical order in this film. Farhad, I mean, did you would have noticed, of course, that the higher you go in the generation, the more powerful in those hunky kind of men. So you start with their father, so in the first scene itself, they actually establish through his routine, when he's doing the workout and everything, and then as you go down, the three brothers. So the first one was a bit more chubbier, and then as you go down, the middle one was less in comparison, and then of course you come to Joji. How Fahad has lost weight, and the fluctuation in weight, it kind of reminds me of Christian Bale, how he keeps doing for his films as well. So and then after Fahad also, if you come down to the nephew, he's even smaller. So and in a way, it works in this film because so the father being at the top, so he commands everyone's respect and he has a control over everyone. And then you come to the elder brother, so his control, he doesn't have control of the father, but the ones under him. So so that way, Joji just had control over his sister-in-law and the nephew. So, how well and certainly did they show the patriarchy in kind of a comic manner, isn't it, Farhad?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the patriarchy angle to tha hi, and one more thing that I wanted to also add was कि जो Lady Macbeth का जो character था, यहाँ पे मतलब she was a silent observer,
Yeah.
and that itself was such a refreshing thing to see. मतलब अगर आप Lady Macbeth अगर आपने पढ़ी होगी लिटरेचर में, शी इज लाइक द वन जो थोड़ा इन्फ्लुएंस करती है मैकबेथ
Yeah,
को
yeah.
टू टेक दैट स्टेप. यहाँ पे इतने सटल नुआंसेस है कि यू माइट ऑल टुगेदर मिस इट आल्सो.
Yeah, I
दैट इज
mean,
द ब्यूटी ऑफ इट.
you wouldn't understand कि उसके दिमाग में चल क्या रहा है. Whether she is a
एग्जैक्टली.
part of it or not, you wouldn't get it in the first time. You will have to be
बिल्कुल.
hooked onto it. Yeah.
लाइक सटल मोमेंट्स लाइक जैसे जॉर्जी बोलता है कि गिव मी वाटर फ्रॉम द फ्रिज, ठीक है, बोलता है गेट इट योरसेल्फ. ऐसे छोटे छोटे है वो, मतलब कि मतलब द ड्राइविंग फोर्स जो है वो, शी इज द ड्राइविंग फोर्स इन दैट. बट दैट्स ओनली व्हेन यू लुक क्लोजली. अगर बहुत ही बारीकी से आप देखेंगे ना, तब वो आपको समझेगा कि नो, शी एक्चुअली इज द ड्राइविंग फोर्स.
I mean, Sadiq, you must have seen the same lady in trance as well. She was
Yes,
she played the role of a reporter, and that was a
yes,
very
yes.
small role. But to be able to perform this kind of a complex role with such ease, and Lady Macbeth was I think, a huge demand. It needed a powerhouse of an actor, and she proved her credentials pretty good in this.
Yes, definitely, definitely, I agree with that. And I was really impressed by the screen presence of that particular actress. I mean, that's the beauty of Malayalam cinema, which I've seen. I mean, the writing and the screenplay is so good, and the character development is so good. I mean, even if that particular actor or actress has a limited screen time, so I mean, they make sure that the character is meaty. I mean, the character, the dialogues, and the screenplay is quite integrated with that. So that's why it was quite powerful for
And
me
I
as
mean,
an
just to
viewer.
think of it, they said a lot more with silence and
Mhm.
expressions. I mean, it's the opposite in Bollywood usually because here uh, they will be,
इट्स वेरी वर्बोस.
yeah, I mean, the
Hmm.
silence would hardly be there. Even if there is silence, they would want to fill it up with background score. But here, silence played almost like a character in the film.
Very true.
And if you talk about even the house in itself was a character, isn't it? I mean, especially the way they shot it, the cinematographer did such a great, amazing job. Did you notice that they used a lot of wide angle shots? It told that, it made you a part of that world, isn't it, Sneha? I mean,
And I
did it
also
make
think
you
that
feel a part of the household? I mean, it showed that all of those people, they were actually paranoid. I mean, that.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the cinematography in this movie, that in the original story, Macbeth is part of an empire.
Yeah.
In this movie, they have picturized the house so well. It's like out of the city. It's in a rubber plantation, and it looks like an empire, like a huge empire जिसके बीच में एक छोटा सा castle है, a castle of their own, which has its own connotations. But again, like you feel claustrophobic and creepy at the same time, because it's like within the house, like it's done so well. Like even the house is spacious. It's a big house, but usme bhi I like the tones, the color grading and things are kept very like I would say बहुत ही monochromatic shades है. So you feel creepy, like वो घर haunted लगता है. And the moment you go outside, you see greenery, and it's just open. And I think it's in a way also represents both Joji and Binsi's character's aspiration of, going out, exploring, like getting away from that house because it's so haunting and so claustrophobic.
Yeah, and
Also, by the way, fun fact, the role played by the actress who played Binsi's role is actually Sam Pushkaran's wife.
oh, okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know.
I think she's acted in a few more Sam Pushkaran movies.
And talking about cinematography, it's the same guy who did Kumbalangi Nights as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard to pick one out of these two, like which was the better one. But and as we talked about how they shot it kind of, as an audience also, when you get sucked into that world, it kind of makes you also feel कि वो जो जब wide angle shots होते हैं तो you are actually also paranoid कि अभी इधर से कोई आने वाला है या एकदम कैमरा घूमेगा और इधर से कोई देख रहा है कुछ सुन रहा है. So when you have that anxiety inside you, you know that how well it's been, it's been shot, and what a good, incredible job the cinematographer and the director have done to create that world. And so just talking about now Fahadh, of course, his eyes, they are like, that's another spectrum of Fahadh Faasil, as we have seen in a lot of other films as well. Shammi from Kumbalangi Nights, and a lot of films of his have also those mirror scenes. If you remember, it was there in Trance as well. It's there in Kumbalangi Nights. So yeah, so I saw Anupama Chopra's review as well. So she said this was a performance within a performance, because he had to be somebody else, and by the end of the movie he was somebody else. So I know कि हम फहाद के बारे में बात करेंगे तो ये स्ट्रीम बहुत लंबी हो जाएगी because no words are enough to describe his performance actually. But I mean, if I ask you, Sadiq, did you think that Fahad playing that role, there was no other better choice than him? I mean, who else could have done it like he did? You're mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, so I think any other actor which could have done it better, I think not in Malayalam cinema, but I think in South Indian cinema, if any actor could have done it better in recent form at least. So yeah, Vijay Sethupathi has to be Vijay Sethupathi, and not any other, because I think he's the only actor currently who's better than Fahadh Faasil in
Oh, so
any way.
you rate him higher than him.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. For me, he's ahead, quite ahead.
I think Sneha will disagree with that.
No, I went through a Vijay Sethupathi phase, then thoda down ho gaya mera.
Yeah.
And I didn't like a lot of his new movies, but yeah, he's an amazing actor, no doubt about it.
Yeah, if not better, maybe he could have done as good as Fahad, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because the advantage Vijay Sethupathi has, that if he wants to portray a negative character, so he'll be as brutal as possible. I
Hmm.
mean, because in a recent movie I watched in Upena, he was brutal. I mean, as ruthless as possible. I mean,
And also, I think there's a certain quality that both Vijay Sethupathi and Fahad share, is that both of them can pull off comedy and negative characters together, and
yeah,
both of these things, qualities combined make up a very creepy
yeah,
character when you think
Yeah.
about it.
And
A
and
very
also
psychopathic character.
Vijay Sethupathi का, you can edit this out if you wish to, but वो Super Deluxe का जो role था, oh
Yeah.
my God, the subtlety that
incredible,
he brought in that,
incredible.
incredible. I don't see anyone coming close to that particular performance.
So
वो
did he,
कुछ
did he
अलग
like,
ही level का
so
था.
I am yet to watch it. I'll probably watch it today itself. But so would you say that he outdid Fahad in that film?
Easily,
Yeah,
easily.
yeah,
For me,
easily.
And
easily.
they're also coming together in Vikram, starring Kamal Hassan as well. So, क्योंकि I've
Yeah,
heard कि Super Deluxe में दोनों का एक साथ scene नहीं था because they were different
नहीं
stories.
था,
हाँ,
yeah, yeah.
नहीं था, हाँ, वो anthology थी, so
But
Yeah,
Vikram
and
का
also I
जो
think
था वो मजा
Fahad's role was less challenging compared to Vijay's role in
Ah,
that movie.
because Fahad's story, I think there was Samantha also, no? Samantha acting with him.
Yeah,
Samantha,
So,
Samantha, हाँ.
the
वो
main
थोड़ा,
focus was on
हाँ,
Samantha in
वो
that story.
philosophical थोड़ा सा हो जाता है, but यहाँ पे emotional human threat था in this वाला
Yeah,
विजय
that-
सेतुपति वाला story.
yeah.
Well,
And
can't
वो
wait for
digestion
Vikram
हो
यार,
गया.
मतलब दोनों को एक ही frame में एक
yeah,
साथ, how good that would be.
yeah. And Vijay Sethupathi, he can do polar opposites role. If you have seen 96, so
Hmm.
96,
yeah.
हाँ,
he's a lover guy. I mean, you feel pity for him. I mean, I wish that he got that Trisha
Even
in the
in
end, but
even in Master, I mean,
uh,
yes, he was that was a negative role, but that sarcasm and the black comedy shades that he puts in effortlessly. I mean, he
yeah, yeah,
but it was
single-handed.
underwritten.
yeah.
Master underwritten था
But Master का
उसमें.
ये था कि I mean, to be able to give first 20 minutes of a film like that, where Vijay, the Talapati Vijay is also there, लेकिन पहले 20 minutes dedicated थे to Setupati's character, so that also speaks volume, isn't it? But
Yeah.
Master की किसी और दिन बात करेंगे. तो जोजी में I think just to as a bottom line, I think to sum it up, it was kind of a slow simmer, kind of a slow death, isn't it? Like, I mean, for me, it reminded me somewhere of Breaking Bad, because there also, along the 5 seasons, you know where it's leading probably, क्योंकि सबको पता था उसमें भी, that it's all about how Walter is hiding stuff from Hank, and the final showdown will be between both of them. So here also, the climax, isn't it? You know that it's going to be, going downhill from here on for Joji, but the journey that was, the process through which we went, the whole grind, I think that's what made Joji worth watching, isn't it? And it's kind of a movie that I would want to watch once again. And in the second viewing, we might actually notice something new that we missed in the first viewing, isn't it? Yeah, Farad.
I was also wanting to make a point on the editing of the movie. I felt the editing was absolutely top notch.
Yeah.
अगर आपको याद होगा कि I think it was in the second hour, somewhere in the middle of the second hour, कि there's this mirror scene that we were talking about, and वहाँ पे एक jump scare होता है. I will not reveal क्या jump scare है, but there is a jump scare there. That particular scene, अगर if there are any budding students out there for editing, वो editing आप देखिएगा कितना सही किया है. अगर either side fraction of a second होता वो jump scare नहीं आता.
Yeah.
But that jump scare that was there, that is all due to that editing. Of course, the entire movie was well edited, but that particular sequence जो है, that just stayed with you. That set the mood for आगे जो होने वाला है in that, along with the background music out there.
Oh, I
Background
mean,
यहाँ पे
how can we forget
थोड़ा
about background music, man? मतलब,
थोड़ा अलग तरीके से यूज किया है
yeah,
यहाँ
yeah,
पे
yeah.
बैकग्राउंड. They've actually
Special
set the
mention.
tone,
Special mention
set the
to
tone
Justin.
and then वो फिर सीन आता है.
Justin Verghese, who did the background score for this film. I mean, he and the director probably knew where exactly to put score and how it can actually work in their favor, even for the audience. I mean, Joji was such a film where you didn't really realize that the background has come up. It was glued in such a way that you wouldn't feel it as, as something which just came up. It was subtly put in, and it felt like an integral part of the film, isn't it? मतलब ऐसा अगेन स्पून फीडिंग वाला हिसाब नहीं था कि आपको अलग से एक चीज सुनाई दे रही है कि यार अच्छा बैकग्राउंड स्कोर आया है अभी, वो ऐसा नहीं था. It came, it did its job, and you would have not really felt that this was something imposed on you. So
Correct.
just on that, I think I should also perform that piece a little because I can't really get over that piece. It haunted me for several nights after watching the film. So it goes something like this. इससे ज्यादा मैं नहीं बजाऊंगा, नहीं तो कॉपीराइट स्ट्राइक आ सकती है. So, thank you guys. I mean, there was still so much left to talk about the film. I mean, we have not really talked about the horse, which was another interesting thing in the film, which he sells off, and we didn't really touch so many topics. That gun, the pallet gun, which was again an important subject in the film, but of course we don't want to give out spoilers because I'm sure काफी लोगों ने फिल्म अभी तक नहीं देखी होगी. So if you have not seen, please go watch JOJI. It's on Amazon Prime. एक महीना आज complete हो गया है. So it's kind of like we have lived with JOJI and all of those characters for a month, and now this is how we put our thoughts out. So parting thoughts, Sneha.
Parting thoughts. Like इस साल मैं एक और दिलीश पोथन and फाफा मूवी देखना चाहूंगी because probably they can also do a trilogy now. Like I am up for it. It would be I'm sure it would be as great as this one, and I think like this is Malayalam cinema at its best.
Yeah.
From everything like editing, cinematography, direction, screenplay, acting. Like एक supporting actor नहीं था who like जिसने बुरा perform किया हो. Everyone was so good, and even the inanimate things like an air pellet gun was so crucial to the story. So I think
I mean, the film starts with it. I mean, when
yeah,
we,
exactly, and the film ends with it.
yeah, and such a long ride, the delivery
Yeah,
from the city to this little town.
exactly. It's like it's just hauntingly beautiful. I think this movie, it'll creep you out, but also you would want to watch it for the thrill. So I think it was a beautiful movie, and yeah, probably even I would like to watch it again to see अगर कुछ miss कर दिया हो तो.
Fahadh, parting thoughts, and why one should watch JOJI.
So actually before I get to that, मेरा एक regret है. मेरा ये regret है कि मैं ये big screen पे नहीं देख पाया. I mean the way it has been shot, and I mean it was beautiful. I would have loved to watch this on a big screen. This demanded a very big screen. So जॉर्जी ऐसी है कि मैंने मेरे रिव्यू में भी लिखा था पॉपकॉर्न रिव्यूज पे कि इट इज क्वाइटली हॉन्टिंग एंड एब्सोल्युटली अ मास्टरपीस. इट इज अ मास्टरपीस. हर जैसे स्नेहा ने अभी कहा, एक्टिंग ले लीजिए, टेक्निकल एस्पेक्ट्स ले लीजिए, बैकग्राउंड्स को लीजिए, एवरीथिंग वाज नेल्ड टू परफेक्शन. मतलब मैंने चलो एक हाफ स्टार वहां पे कम कर दिया था, बट फिर भी मतलब ऑन अ गुड डे आई वुड हैव गिवन इट इवन 5/5. I mean, this was like absolutely top notch. Direction भी top notch. Everything top notch. मतलब यार cinematography top notch. Editing अभी बात की top notch. Acting तो थी एकदम सुभान अल्लाह, एकदम superb एकदम. So I mean, I would say drop everything and watch this right now. सब कुछ छोड़ के अभी पहले देखिए मूवी.
जिन्होंने
नहीं
देख
देखी
ली
है
है
तो
वो भी दोबारा देखें, क्या पता कुछ नया.
दोबारा देखिए.
Yeah, and as an adaptation also, like adaptation hai, but fir bhi I think this would work as a standalone movie also. I would watch it like as a standalone movie also. क्योंकि adaptation के बाद भी they had so many like plot points which were so original.
Yeah.
So many things, so little things that are so original and nice. And I think this would look great on stage also because it has such a beautiful soundtrack. I think it would make a great play also.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Macbeth would already.
Yeah, it is. But JOJI as a play would be pretty amazing, I think.
The setup, that house and all, everything.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's all there. They just need a stage.
So please go watch, guys. I mean, for me, it's probably the best film of the year so far. Out of all the films that I've seen personally, I think all of you would agree with that. You know, best film of the year. So
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, one of the best
Yeah.
movies.
Best Malayalam film for sure, definitely.
yeah.
Along with one.
Indian also. Like it's
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, I mean, there it is. This was JOJI's review on Cinema Hall this Friday, and next Friday we'll come back with another movie on our platform, and we would have hopefully the same faces and maybe a few more who would be joining us. So thank you, Sneha, for joining for the first time. It was your debut here. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoyed the conversation.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. And Farhad, as always, and please go check out Farhad's website as well, Popcorn Reviews. इसमें कितने ऐसे हैं भाई एंड में?
तो ऐसे आप लिंक डाल दीजिए डिस्क्रिप्शन में चलेगा.
डाल देंगे. और सादिक, थैंक यू सो मच अगेन. मैं लोगों को बता दूं कि सादिक इज सिटिंग इन कराची, पाकिस्तान, एंड ही इज such a huge fan of Malayalam films, South Indian films in general, more than a lot of people I know in India are. So hats off to him. You know, we need more sort of cinephiles like that, that which would define the unity between the two countries. So I hope that this continues as always. So thank you for watching. This is Keshav signing off. Until next time.